A hearty good morning to all. From our new Oxford Modern English course book, in page number 76, we have a beautiful poem, London Summer Morning. Students, before stepping into the poem, let's talk about the poet. London Summer Morning is penned by Mary Robinson. Mary Robinson was an English actress, poet, dramatist, novelist, and celebrity figure. She lived in England in the cities of Bristol and London, and also lived in France and Germany for a time. She enjoyed poetry from the age of 7 and started working as an actress from the age of 14. Mary Robinson was born on 27th November 1757 in Bristol, England, and died on 26th December 1800 at the age of 43 in Englefield Green, England. Some of the poems penned by Mary Robinson are Captivity, London Summer Morning, Sappho and Phao, Lyrical Tales, and so on. Some of the novels penned by Mary Robinson are Vincenza, The Window, Angelina, Walsingham, and so on. Students, let's talk about the poem. London Summer Morning is a poem penned by Mary Robinson. In this poem, the poet describes a typical summer morning in London, the busy capital city of Great Britain, in a lot of detail. Her descriptions are very vivid and realistic, which enables the readers to feel part of the busy street life themselves and to get a glimpse of life in London. Mary Robinson clearly feels both positively and negatively about London, which is shown by her use of both positive and negative language. According to Mary Robinson, London is busy, noisy, and dirty. However, at the same time, like most big cities, it has its own beauty and its own appeal. Students, let's talk about the summary of the poem London Summer Morning penned by Mary Robinson. The poem starts out describing the early morning of London streets, which is cloudy and gloomy. Cloudy is due to various loud noises and sounds made by the people. No one can sleep or feel comfort in bed when the sounds hit the ears of the sleepy ones. From early morning, people of London come out of the houses, especially the poor people who have no other source for their livelihood, to sell the goods, or the labourers who wait for their owners to let them do any work. The weather is humid due to the summer days. The shopkeepers sprinkle water in front of the shops, and the merchants are calling out their trades while the others enjoy watching every charm from their house windows. Not only humans, the humming bees are also involved in adding a bit of sound in the summer morning. The lamplighter, the old clothes man, and the potters are seen busy working along the burning paths of London. This was the summary of the poem. Students, now let's step into the poem. Welcome back to the poem London Summer Morning penned by Mary Robinson. To follow the poem in a plain and simple way, I have divided this poem in 3 sections. Come to the first section. In the first section of the poem, the poet portrays the picture of some low characterized workers whose lives are compelled to earn the least for their livelihood. In this section, the poet begins the poem asking that who can still comfort in bed by hearing the loud sounds in the hot and humid weather of London? The first character who is introduced on the hot pavement is the dirty chimney boy. He is not actually dirty, but as he removes the soot from the chimneys in order to clean and clear the chimneys, make his face dingy, means dark and dull. He is in his poor condition with old and torn clothes. So, the chimney boy is standing on the street early in the morning, either shrieking at people about what he does and that he is for hire, or by which he is crying very loudly and is very upset by his current job. This shows the difficulties adolescents had to go through, is often forced into child labor to support their families or themselves. Next is the sleepy housemaid who is woken up by the milkman's pail, which creates a rattling sound, and the tinkling bell with a series of high tiny sounds announces publicly that the dustman, means our garbage man, has arrived in the local area. So it's the time to take out the garbage from the house and put it into the garbage vehicle. There's no way for these sounds to go somewhere else. They are just like the clouds in that particular area, which is not affected by anything. It is the morning time in London where we can view a coach kept for hire, especially a four-wheeler carriage drawn by two horses and having seats for 6 persons. Next is a vehicle used for transporting goods or another purpose, and a strong open vehicle with 2 or 4 wheels typically used for carrying loads and pulled by a horse. The owners of these vehicles or carts create a loud, unpleasant and prolonged noise to attract the people, those who are in need of. While others such as the tinsmiths, the trunk makers, the knife grinders, means who sharpens knives and other cutting tools, the coopers, means who makes or repairs casks and barrels, again the cork cutters, the fruit barrows, all these make plenty of noise on the streets of London in the summer morning. Not only this, wherever the air is empty, it is filled by the hunger-giving cries of the vegetable vendors. Once again, welcome back to the poem London Summer Morning, penned by Mary Robinson. Come to the second section. In the second section of the poem, the poet portrays the keen trading workers and the romantic scene which is presented by the first rays of the morning sun. The poet says that in the summer morning of London, beside the street, every shop starts displaying its various trades. The shopkeepers are sprinkling fresh and cool water in front of the shops, as we Indian shopkeepers used to sprinkle water before starting our trading work. Due to the sprinkled water, the pavement is wet and the people, those who are the early walkers moving on the pavements, feel relaxed due to the temporary wet soil. The healthy reddish colored housemaid spins quickly to watch the pretty girl who is busy mopping. She is the one who learns a trade from a skilled employer. The morning rays of the morning sun touch the utensils which glitters the panes. Here, a scene of brightly colored, cheerful looking goods is presented by the poet. Not only this, to make neat and decorate yourself, you can visit the beauty parlor, where you can view a young unmarried woman seated by the window, watching every charm passes through in front of her eyes. Now come to the third section. In the third section of the poem, the poet portrays the remaining daily workers who add charm to the atmosphere of the busy streets of London. The poet says that in the morning, humming bees make natural noise over the delicious and tempting taste of the pastries. They capture the fascinated attention on them. On the other side, the lamplighter mounts the tall ladder, a brave and courageous boy who trims the half-filled lamps, while his companion who yells and shouts as they work. In this hot and humid weather, the old clothesman calls out his trade to attract the people. He stealthily puts his hand inside the big bag and takes it out as if he wants to know the secret of the hidden treasure. Beside this, the potters are busy carrying heavy loads on the hot burning streets of London. So, in the late 70s, London was the center of European and world trade, and full of people who were working hard for their livelihood. Students, the details you can get in the first lesson of this very book, that is Light in the Night. So, in the late 70s, one summer morning, when the poet woke up from her busy dreams, she penned the pictures of London summer morning. Thank you.